All right, this your brother Issachar coming at you with another lesson. First off, I want to give our praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachaa Quadash. Double honors to the apostles of the great millstones I learned his truth from. Honors to the elders and brothers out there pushing his word through the four corners of the earth within truth and sincerity. And shalom to the Akwat that's listening and learning. Today's video is going to be entitled, What Does the Bible Say About Disciplining Your Kids? All right. It's going to be entitled, What Does the Bible Say About Disciplining Your Kids? Now, I got aspires to do this lesson because I was recently on Twitter, and this video right here that I'm getting ready to play first was shared with me about a week or so ago. But this video resurfaced again on Twitter when I was scrolling, because whenever I look for inspiration to do a lesson or a video, I always go on Twitter first because there's always a lot of information that's shared over there. And I can just, download videos or whatever, and then so forth and so on. So this video resurfaced again on my feed. Then it's another video that came about while I was scrolling as well. And it's pretty much a few other videos now where there's a lot of people sharing these videos of parents disciplining their kids. And what I mean by that is their kids are receiving whoopings, man. That's just what it is. They're getting whoopings like we used to get when we were kids. All right. And this society is pretty much half and half on it. You got half of the people that's like, this is needed because they from the old school, or even if they're not from the old school, they just understand that things like getting spankings or whoopings is necessary for children in order for them to grow the correct way, in order for them to be humble, in order for them to gain respect or learn how to respect other people, so forth and so on. All right. But then you got the other half who's like, this is doing too much. It's child abuse. Kids shouldn't be going through this. This is an act of violence, so forth and so on. All right. So this first video that I'm getting ready to play, it looked like an Edomite lady right here. All right. And she pretty much, this video was recorded by her older son. All right. Because her older son was like, he was going through all of this abuse, quote unquote, when he was younger. So he saw his younger brother, which she's giving the whooping to. All right. He saw his younger brother getting the whooping, and he was like, he's going to record it and he's going to send it to authorities. And that's exactly what he did. He sent it to authorities. Authorities watched it. They looked at it as that's enough evidence to press charges on her. So she lost her job and everything like that because of her older son, man. Wild as hell. Wild as hell. But this video is going viral because a lot of people like she went overboard because she struck him about 20 times and then picked him up and was cursing him out, so forth and so on, man. But it's just crazy. It's crazy. The whole story is wild on its own. But I'm just going to get straight to the point. The thing is, the scriptures tell you otherwise. The scriptures tell you that you're supposed to give your kids whoopings, man. And it's plain as day when you read it. It's plain as day when you read it. All right. So before I begin speaking even more, this video might be quote unquote disturbing to certain people, but this is the reality, man. Like I said, I got whoopings when I was little, and I understood why it needed to happen. And there's a lot of other people, that I grew up with, or a lot of us that received whoopings when we were younger, and it is what it is, man. So fair use for this video, and fair use for the next video I'm getting ready to play. All right, so like I said, we gonna watch it. It's only about, I believe, almost close to 3 minutes. Then I'm gonna play the next video just a little bit, and then we're gonna grab some scriptures. So let's go ahead and get into it.
The video was clandestinely captured by another family member who has given us permission to show it to you. It appears to be a parent attempting to physically discipline her child. The sheriff's office now confirms the woman is the mother of the 12-year-old son that is about to be struck with a strap or a belt 22 times, the beating lasting about 15 seconds, and it is difficult to watch. The woman then pulls the child up from the sofa by his hair, then unleashes a torrent of profanity. This video has also been viewed by investigators with the Mobile County Sheriff's Office, who identify her as as 44-year-old Randy Nicole Staples of Grand Bay. But some viewers may recognize her as Mrs. Nicole Staples, a second-grade teacher at Cottage Hill Christian Academy. This is her booking picture from Mobile Metro Jail earlier this evening after being charged with felony willful abuse.
People are entitled to discipline their children how they choose, but that went well beyond discipline. It was abuse.
Mobile County Sheriff Paul Birch calls the behavior in the video repulsive.
It was sickening to see somebody that just could, repeatedly, strike their child and then snatch them by the hair and yell and cuss at them. And then I think the last strike was across his arms. And just there was never any question or doubt that she was ultimately going to be arrested.
Sheriff Birch says making the video even more confounding is Staples' reputation at Cottage Hill Christian Academy, which in May posted on Facebook that she had been chosen Teacher of the Year.
And it's, almost like a dual personality. And because by all accounts, I'm told that she is a good teacher and well respected, but yet, what happens in the home is clearly the opposite of that.
The sheriff says this is very much an ongoing investigation and that DHR is involved and is dealing with the children. He says he expects more to be uncovered as the investigation continues.
We did discuss this in depth with the district attorney, Keith Blackwood, and decided on the appropriate charges, and she will face justice.
So there it is. Okay. It just went quiet. I sure was like, what's going on? But anyway, saw the video, right? Now, in my opinion, she did nothing wrong, man. You heard at the beginning of the video that the whooping only lasted 15 seconds. 15 seconds. All right, 15 seconds. They said she gave about 22 strikes, or gave him about 22 strikes. Then she picked him up, started cursing or whatever. But you did notice in the video, though, the younger son, when she was talking to him, how did he respond? He was like, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Because, he had that, you could tell he had that respect for his mother. All right. He already knew that whatever he did, he got himself into that trouble. It is what it is. Then what makes it even more hilarious, and she works at a place called College Hills Christian Academy. Now, like the Elder Malcolm would say, everybody's a Christian until the scriptures come out. Because the thing is, if they were to read these scriptures for what they say, literally, they would allow this to happen. But the thing is, like the brother that shared this video with me a while ago, he was like, man, we starting to see these curses fall upon Esau, man. We seeing these curses fall upon Esau because Esau's the one that literally was like, this is child abuse. But it's not child abuse, man. It's not child abuse at all. And now here it is, Esau, or this Sheetamite right here, same difference, was over here disciplining her child, and now she's arrested because of her own son. Because of her own son, because she was doing what was right by the child. So the whole situation is some bullshit. It really is. But at the end of the day, like I said, according to the scriptures, it's nothing wrong with what she just did. All right. It's nothing wrong with what she just did. Now I'm gonna get this other video real quick. Hold on, let me grab it real fast. Okay, here's the other video. All right, now this is a video with Eve. All right, here she is right here, and she found out that her son was disrespecting the teacher, so she came to the school, grabbed him, and then she's gonna give him like a little minor whooping or whatever outside in front of the teacher and somebody else. But when you look at this video, don't take it too don't take it too seriously, because she's a demon. She's a demon. When you hear the way that she starts talking to her son and everything like that, you can be like, all right, it's something wrong with her. But I'm just wanting to show this video just for the simple fact that she came to the school and disciplined her son in front of everybody. One of the main things you learn when you start reading the scriptures is you learn about how the Most High sets an example in front of the people. For instance, if you committed a sin that was worthy enough for you to get stoned to death, that stoning will happen in front of your people. All right. There would be people set up so then they could throw the stones at the person and everybody else will have to watch. And the thing is, when that happens, you have to have that reality marinate, man. It sinks in to the point where you just like, man, that could be me if I mess up. And it's the same thing that used to happen back in the day when I was growing up. If you messed up in school, all right, it could be you can have a surprise visit from your parent, and you can get a whooping in front of everybody, man. You get a whooping in front of everybody if you was messing up as far as grades were concerned, if you had bad conduct, so forth and so on, man. Your mother, your father will surprisingly come to school and be like, yeah, so I heard you was doing this, I heard you was doing that. And you have no choice but to, face the consequences, because ain't no way you gonna lie about it. The teacher right there, and they got all the evidence. So you would get a whooping in front of everybody, and what that would do is all the other kids that would see that would make them feel like, damn, I don't want that to happen to me, because they know that it could. So like I said, when you read the scriptures, you read certain things about, like the stonings and everything like that, and it happened in front of the people. And when you look at that and you realize what's going on, it reminds you to not play with the Lord. The same way that a kid needs to be reminded not to be playing with their parents, man. And to be doing what's right by their parents and doing what's right by them growing up. So let's look at this video. So like I said, she's a little bugged out, but we just gonna look at it for what this lesson is about. All right, so let's go ahead and play it. Yeah, so like I said, man, she a little bugged out. She bugged out to the fullest. She talking to her son like that's a gangster from the corner or something like that. It's gonna be me and you, nigga. You know what I'm saying? But you already know how Eve and Jake get down, man. That's just that demon spirit that they got upon them. But like I said, the whole point of the video is, like I said, when you were messing up as a kid, things like that will happen. Things like that will happen, and that's actually scriptural. All right, you would get whooped in front of everybody. You would be made an example out of, and everybody else that would watch, they would literally be like, they would learn from the situation. All right, so it is what it is. But disciplining your kids, as far as them getting whoopings, is nothing wrong with that, man. That's what you're supposed to do. So let's get the scriptures real quick. We're gonna get Proverbs chapter 22, verse 6. It says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. So you're supposed to teach your kid the correct way. The correct way, as we all know, is following the commandments, statutes, and laws of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, first and foremost, all right? Then, when it comes to, this world, it's all bullshit, but you're supposed to train up your child in the way that he should go. You're supposed to teach him correctly, so then that way, when he gets older, he can remember what he went through, and then he can pass that knowledge and experience on to his children, and so forth and so on, man. So then that way, they won't grow up to be idiots. They won't grow up to be wild, so forth and so on, man. Disrespectful, disobedient, all of that, man. They can grow up and actually learn how to respect people, love people, be in order, and all of that. All right, so you're supposed to train up your child in the way that he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. He won't forget what his parents taught him. Point blank, period. Easy to understand. Now let's get Proverbs 19 and 18. We're going to get Proverbs chapter 19, go to verse 18. It says, chasten thy son while there is hope, and let not thy soul spare for his crying. This is plain right here, man. Chasten means to discipline, correct, all right? Means to discipline, correct, instruct. And one of the ways that you discipline your child, yes, is by giving them whoopings. It is what it is, man. Just like when we were growing up, you hear all the comedians. Like one of the first ones I think about is Bernie Mac when he was doing the Kings of Comedy. He was talking about opening up a daycare, and he was like, man, if you bring your kids here, you ain't got to worry about. He said you ain't got to worry about paying the first 3 months. He said the first 3 months is free. And he said, I'm going to tell you like it is. If you come pick your kid up and he got a big ass knot on the side of his head, and you ask, why you got a big ass knot on the side of his head? He said, I'm going to look you straight in the eye and said, I took a hammer and slapped the fuck out of him. Now, of course, you ain't going to take a hammer or whatever and knock a kid out or whatever. You know, he just saying that as a joke. But he's making a point as far as when these kids get out of order, he's going to discipline them. And, you know, you look at when you listen to the comedians or let's look at TV shows as far as what race was concerned, you always hear Jake say, man, we not doing that timeout shit, because that's what Esau does. Esau does the timeouts, the interventions, let my kid be free, let my kid speak his mind, and all of that. And now look what's going on in the world today. Jake back in the day was like, no, if my kid get out of order, no, we gonna have some problems, and we gonna handle it. Because the law is in their spirit, man. The law is in their spirit. The commandments, statutes, and laws was given to us. And this is why we act the way we act, because we're the chosen people of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Speaking to you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, all right? So read it again. It says, chasten thy son while there is hope. It says while there is hope, because you may see your son or your daughter going off, and you may see them going off a little bit too much to the point where they're getting comfortable with it. So it says, chasten thy son while there is hope. You like, look, I know he's not that type of person. I know that he's a good person at heart, but he just needs to be shown some tough love real quick. So guess what the parents are going to do? They're going to pull out that belt, man. They're going to pull out that belt, and they're going to remember that as a kid. And when they get older, they're going to remember like, yeah, I used to hate getting whoopings, but I understand why they did it. Because you already knew if you got into a situation where you were going to get in trouble, you was going to have to feel pain. Nobody wants to go through that, man. Nobody wants to feel pain. So guess what? Guess what you did to avoid that pain? You would do right by your parents, and you would do right by yourself. That's what the whoopings are for, man. Correction, instruction, discipline. Point blank, period. Then it says, and let not thy soul spare for his crying. You're not supposed to feel soft about this, man. That's what a lot of parents are today. They're soft. They're modern parents. They look at videos like that and they be like, no, that's doing way too much. The lady in the video, even the news reporter said only gave that child a whooping for 15 seconds. 15 seconds. They didn't they didn't grow up black at all. I'm just going to have to say it like that. They didn't grow up black at all. Because they did, man, when you read the comments on those videos, people be like, damn, my parents would have been locked up. Everybody was saying my parents would have been locked up. My parents would have been locked up. So forth and so on, man. It says, let not thy soul spare for his crying. Hey, you're not supposed to get soft. You're not supposed to be like, okay, I'm doing too much. Maybe I'm going overboard. No, you are the parent. You the one that runs the show. You just supposed to do it correctly. And that's what we're going to read right here. We're going to get, first, before we get that, we're going to get Sirach. We're going to get the scripture that tells you that it's okay. We're going to get Sirach chapter 30. Then we're going to start in verse 9. It says, cocker thy child, and he shall make thee afraid. The word cocker means to spoil, pamper, all right? So pamper thy child, spoil thy child, and he shall make thee afraid. Play with him, and he will bring thee to heaviness. You got to have a balance with things. When you do good, like, when you do good in school or whatever, you got rewarded for doing good. All right. But you don't go overboard with it. You be like, okay, you got good grades. Cool. Favorite games just come out. We'll get you your favorite game. Then you leave it at that. You don't be like, all right, you're going to get your favorite game. You're going to get your favorite food. I'm going to take you here. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And then the very next day, you just keep doing it over and over again. No, you don't do that, man. That's why they have that saying, born with a silver spoon, because as soon as they are born, they just living life, to the fullest. They don't really have any, what's the word? It was just in my mind too. It was just in my mind. Damn, I can't think of it right now. But anyway, getting back to the point, you're not supposed to be spoiling your child, man. And that's why it says, play with him and he will bring thee to heaviness. Because you're going to realize that sooner or later, your child is going to be looking for that certain treatment. And you're going to have to keep that up, man. And you don't want to do that, man. You don't want to spoil your child. Verse 10, it says, laugh not with him, lest thou have sorrow with him, and lest thou gnash thy teeth in the end. Give him no liberty in his youth, and weep not at his follies. Plain right there, man. Don't give him any freedom. Don't allow your child just to run wild and be free and just do whatever he want. And when he messes up, don't be like, oh, it's okay. He's a child. He's only 5 years old. He's only 7 years old. He's only 10, 11, 12 years old. No. As soon as they get to the point where they have an understanding of what's right and what's wrong, you expect them to, follow orders and understand the difference between the two. You can't just be like, oh, it was a mistake every single time. Sooner or later, you got to be like, nah, man, you got to get your shit together, man. And if you don't get it together, guess what's going to happen? Right here in verse 12. Right here in verse 12. It says, bow down his neck while he is young, and beat him on the sides while he is a child, lest he wax stubborn and be disobedient unto thee, and so bring sorrow to thine heart. Plain, man. Plain. This is one of the first scriptures I was actually happy about when I got into the truth. When I got into the truth, I was like, it's a scripture talking about whoopings? And the scriptures say this, you supposed to do this? I was like, and then, everything that started clicking. I'm like, no wonder that, this is Jake. Jake always is like, nah, man, we not letting nothing slide. You gonna get a whooping. They be like, man, go outside. You gonna pick the switch. pick a branch outside. If I ain't got no belt, that's what my parents used to do. Other parents, they be like, man, go outside, pick up your switch, pick whatever branch they gonna find something. If it's a grandma or whatever, they'll use their hand because they were old school. They, gave you spankings and whatever. But that's what the scriptures say. It say, bow down his neck while he is a child and beat him. It says beat him, man. All right. On the sides while he is a child. You saw those two videos, they were children. Lest he wax stubborn and be disobedient unto thee. If you don't take care of the situation on time, guess what's going to happen? They're going to get older. They become disobedient. And guess what? They're just going to disrespect the parents, and they're going to disrespect other people. Because if they can disrespect their own parents, guess what they're going to do to anybody else outside of the family, man? So this is what you're supposed to do to your children while they are young. Because if you don't, so bring sorrow to thine heart. That's what's going to happen. You're going to realize your child is out of order, and you're going to realize it's too late because you didn't do anything about it because you wanted to be soft. The Most High don't be playing around, man. That's our Father. Most High was like, look, if we get out of order with certain things, like I said earlier, you would get stoned to death. He'll bring plagues upon us. All you got to do is read Deuteronomy 28 as far as the curses. The Most High jacked us up. So guess what we got to do to our children if they get out of order? They got to get jacked up too. Point blank period, man. Now let's get Ephesians and end it with that. We're going to get Ephesians 6. And then we're going to start at verse 1. It says, children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Plain. Listen to your parents, you'll be all right. Obey your parents in the Lord. You see, it says in the Lord, because the correct way is the commandments, statutes, and laws. And this, look what it says right here. Honor thy father and mother, which is the first commandment, with promise, that it may be well with thee, and thou mayest live long on the earth. And here's another point. And ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. There's a balance to things, man. You're not just supposed to be going around beating your kids just because you want to make a point, or you want to put a certain fear in your children or whatever. You're not just supposed to be doing that, man, because, you know, there are certain parents out there that goes overboard. All right. The scriptures teach us about balance. You only supposed to discipline your kids when you see that they're getting out of order, man. When you see that they're getting out of order and it's getting to the point where it's getting to be too much, then you got to do something about it. You got to do something about it, man. But as soon as you see that they're getting better, and then they're getting, you know, they're listening more, they're being more obedient, they're becoming better people, better children, you leave them alone. Then you reward them for that. The balance, man. But as soon as you see that they getting out of order, guess what's got to happen? That's the Rock 30 got to come in, man. That's the Rock 30 got to come into play. Point blank, period. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that out real quick because, like I said, these videos were just surfacing on my feed for a while. And at first I was like, I don't think I want to do a lesson on this because, you know, so many things going on in the world. You'd be like, well, let's bring out something about prophecy or whatever. But the thing is, the scriptures tell us to not shun away from everything, man. We're supposed to teach the whole Bible. And part of the Bible is this. All right. So at the end of the day, like I said, what these parents were doing as far as disciplining their kids, is nothing wrong with that, man. There's nothing wrong with it at all. We just live under Esau's rulership. That's all it is. And as long as we live under Esau's rulership, more and more parents are not going to be able to discipline their kids, man. Another reason of many why we need the Lord to return, man, because Esau is messing everything up, man. He's messing everything up. Point blank, period. But I'm going to end it with that, and I ain't going to speak no more. Like I said, I just wanted to bring that out real quick. So I hope it's edifying. So with that, I'm going to say, call Halayim, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachaa Quadash. Double honors to the apostles of the great millstones I learned this truth from. Honors to the elders and brothers out there pushing this word through the four corners of the earth within truth and sincerity. And shalom to the Aquat that's listening and learning. And Yahweh Rod Zad, I'll be back with another lesson. Keep pushing, Yasharala. Keep pushing. We almost out of here. Shalom.